Welcome to Soltron. This is the video review for LDCX Supertrain robot, Black Bear or Brown Bear, I'm not exactly sure. Here's how he scales with some other robots. He's about 9 inches. And here's all my LDCX robots together. And here's a group shot of my favorites out of the line. So LDCX was probably my second favorite new series of 2020. So Brown Bear is a 2-train combiner and he looks really cool. So I think the head sculpt, the coloration really makes me think of Roadbuster from G1 Transformers. But he's got a great aesthetic. I love that he's got a sword arm. It's a little bit tiny, but it is a cool feature. And then I like his asymmetrical shoulders. So he's just got a lot of personality, and the train type is really awesome too. It just looks very cool. And like all the other robots, he doesn't have that much kibble, just this backpack and then the extra garbage hanging off their elbows. But just a really cool look to him. The colors all just work really well. Even this kind of like cream color just fits with the overall aesthetic. So this is the second version of this figure. So in wave 1 he was a 1-train combiner and he looked like this, which is an okay look. He's got some interesting aesthetics to him, but his upgrade just looks so much cooler. The proportions are way better. I think the head sculpt got a little bit overly complicated, but looks a little bit more like a bear compared to this guy, which looks a lot more like a G1 Transformer. But overall, this robot is a 10 out of 10 for me. He just looks really incredible. Awesome design choices. He's very unique looking, and the sword arm just really sells it for me. Articulation is the same with all the other figures in this line. No head rotation at all. You get 360 on the shoulders, you get a good amount of outward motion, you get an elbow that bends more than 90 degrees. Kind of looks awkward when you're straightening it out. And then you do have bicep swivel as well. So the best articulation is definitely in the arms. And then there's nothing in the waist. There's barely any hip articulation at all. You get one click out on the hips, so you can't even really do a side kick. So the legs have the poorest articulation, and then you also have about 45 degrees on the knees, which is pointless because you can't kick the leg forward or backward at all. And then you do have pivoting ankle, which is good for this default A stance, which is basically the only leg articulation you're going to get. If you straighten out the legs, he's looking pretty awkward. Okay, I'm going to quickly go through the transformation. You have to start by ripping off their arms. There is parts forming, but thankfully this is the only parts forming in the figure, so I think that's a little bit forgivable. He does have a spring-loaded head, which ejects when you push in the fake chest. So you just depress that, cover that up with this back piece. You're going to push in the hips, and then move these hip skirts up to cover the hips, and then you just depress the ab section, and now you have most of a train already. And then with the legs, you just push the feet up and then move these leg armors to cover the feet, and there you have most of the train. And then you're going to attach the arms. So this arm does have a spring-loaded gimmick for the sword arm, and that's activated with this button. So that's a nice play feature. So you're going to depress the sword and then basically just sandwich the forearm to the shoulder, and now you have this section. And then you do the same thing with the other arm. Okay, and then these just peg in to the front and the rear of the train, and that's the entire train transformed. He does come with this joint if you want to give your train some articulation so it can turn around corners. But then that kind of makes the train look a little ridiculous with this huge joint in between. Is not very realistic. I really like this construction train look. It's got really nice Chinese writing in the front. And it's got a pretty clean look to it. It's maybe lacking a little bit of details, but I'd say that this train is a 9 out of 10. It's a great looking train. It's pretty fun, blocky. It looks very powerful, which fits the character well. And the train is like too small to actually work with a deluxe figure, but you can just use your imagination. It kind of works. So great figure. I like that he's got his sword arm gimmick that doesn't get in the way of anything else. I would say the train is definitely a 9. For the aesthetic, looks really good, and then the playability of this figure is definitely an 8. It's fun to just transform it back and forth even though it doesn't have any extra gimmicks, and the durability is really excellent at an 8, so good solid plastic out of this line. I'll leave a link in the description. This guy is definitely a must buy for me. I don't know if I've ever talked about the directions that come with these guys, but they are in full color. You definitely wouldn't need them to transform the figure, but they are very detailed. So let's go over the art book that comes with the figures for Season 2 or Series 2. So here's the table of contents. And then you have, so this is Wolf. In the first wave, he was a 1-train combiner, but he got upgraded to a 2-train combiner, so he looks a lot cooler now. And then here's Black Bear, who's now a 2-train combiner. So basically all the trains that were 1-train transformers turned into 2-train transformers, and all the ones that were 2-train transformers in wave 1 got downgraded to 1-train transformers, which is kind of weird. This guy I think is new. He looks like a rhino, I'm guessing. The description doesn't really tell you what animal they are anymore. So this guy was not in wave 1, I don't believe. And then Elephant used to be a 1-train combiner, now he's a 3-train combiner. And then Pegasus also used to be 1-train, and then he got an upgrade. I might actually get this figure because he does look pretty cool, and I like his accessories, the wings and the thigh guns. And then here's Peacock, who I didn't much care for, who's the only 4-train combiner out of the series. And then you can see that Lion got downgraded to a 1-train combiner, so he's a lot simpler looking now. And then Red Dragon also got downgraded, and I think this is the symbol for a phoenix. So I think they combined Red Dragon and the phoenix together maybe to make one character, because Golden Phoenix doesn't have a character anymore, so he didn't get downgraded at all. And then we have Ox King downgraded, and he's got some interesting looking hands. And then Great Ape downgraded to a 1-train combiner. And then you can see all the wave 1. So here's Golden Phoenix and Red Dragon from the wave 1. So it's cool to have all the artworks from wave 1 too. And then here's all the package art from wave 2. And yeah, that's basically it. So hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll be back with the next one.